Philadelphia Eagles defensive end Michael Bennett's return to Seattle is back on the calendar. The former Seattle Seahawks pass rusher was of course traded in the offseason from the organization he called home for 5 seasons to the Philadelphia Eagles, along with a 7th-round pick for a 5th-round pick and wide receiver Marcus Johnson. For the record, that pick essentially became punter Michael Dickson. The Seahawks used that pick along with another 7th-round pick acquired on day 2 of the draft to trade up in the 5th round for Dickson. So Bennett essentially turned into a long-term replacement at punter for John Ryan and Johnson, who may or may not make the final roster. In any event, unlike most of the players the Seahawks discarded to rebuild their roster this offseason, Bennett will not be returning to play his former team in 2018. After 2 straight years on the schedule, the Seahawks and Eagles don't do battle in any capacity in the regular season. However, the crafty defensive end found another way to come back to Seattle, or at least he reinstated his previous return trip to the Emerald City. According to Bennett, via his social media, the star defender has rescheduled his Seattle stop on his book tour for Monday, June 18 at Town Hall, Seattle. The event will start at 7:30 p.m. PT. Here's the link for all the information, including how to buy tickets for the affair. He was originally set to promote his new book, Things That Make White People Uncomfortable, which was co-written by the nation's Dave Zirin on April 9. However, he had to postpone his book tour due to being indicted for a felony charge of injury to the elderly by Harris County in Texas. He allegedly pushed a 66-year-old paraplegic who was working at NRG Stadium in Houston to control access to the field at Super Bowl 51 and caused a shoulder injury. He intends to plead not guilty to the charges. Bennett was on hand for that Super Bowl between the New England Patriots and Atlanta Falcons to watch his brother, retired tight end Martellus Bennett, and was attempting to get down to the field to celebrate with him upon the Patriots' victory. The Seahawks are now fitting their new pieces into specific roles. Don't miss any updates. Stay informed right along with us. Take 5 seconds to sign up for our free Seahawks newsletter now. Here's a quick synopsis of the book per Amazon. Michael Bennett is a Super Bowl champion, a 3-time Pro Bowl defensive end, a fearless activist, a feminist, a grassroots philanthropist, an organizer, and a changemaker. He's also one of the most scathingly humorous athletes on the planet, and he wants to make you uncomfortable. Bennett adds his unmistakable voice to discussions of racism and police violence, black athletes and their relationship to powerful institutions like the NCAA and the NFL, the role of protest in history, and the responsibilities of athletes as role models to speak out against injustice. Following in the footsteps of activist athletes from Muhammad Ali to Colin Kaepernick, Bennett demonstrates his outspoken leadership both on and off the field. Since his departure, the relationship between him and the Seahawks has become slightly more icy than it was in early April. After being sent off with a hero's goodbye in March following the trade, the revelation that he may have taken up reading during team meetings last season, according to Sports Illustrated's Greg Bishop, caused a mini-stir among fans in Seattle. Although head coach Pete Carroll denies Bennett brought books to team meetings, he was quite clear that the two sides moved on from each other for a reason. Let me go at it this way. There's a real clear philosophy around here that we have lived with and we believe in. It's about always competing, and there's a thought to that. You're either competing or you're not. My job is to figure how attentive we are to that approach, and if everybody's in on it and all that. And you've noticed that there have been some changes that have been made, he said on KJR Radio in April. It's not easy to stay on the edge that we want to stay on, and some guys have trouble with that. And that's my job, to figure out who's with us and who's on it and got their stuff together and are they battling. And I make those choices based on a lot of information, but that's part of it. If guys are having trouble with the focus or whatever, if that comes up, then it'll show up in their play sometimes. We have to make those decisions based on a lot of stuff. I have no problem making those choices when the time comes. So you've seen some changes that have occurred and it's time to keep moving. He doubled down on that statement during his pre-draft press conference when asked again about the departure of Bennett and Richard Sherman. Sometimes, guys can't hang with what's expected, for one reason or another, their growth, their development and all of that, he said. And the best thing I can tell you is that they're not here. Of course Bennett isn't coming to visit with the Seahawks, who will be on their final round of vacation after mandatory mini-camp runs from June 12 to 14. He's coming to meet with fans who want to discuss his latest book. Those folks, Seahawks fans or not, can meet with Bennett on June 18.